this in here. Oh, hi, it's so good to have you back. I'm doing an experiment to see how paper soaks up water. I'm putting paper towels into these cups, and we'll see what happens.
Hey, Lizzie. Your mom wanted me to ask if you got all your soccer stuff in the car yet.
I already loaded it, Grandpa.
Well, this looks interesting, so tell me what you're doing here.
I'm gonna see if I can move water into these empty cups. Do you think I can?
Yes!
My cups here are connected by paper towels.
Well, it does look interesting, but it doesn't look like it's working.
We have to wait, Grandpa. That's my least favorite part of science. Waiting. We have to wait to see what the towels do with the water.
Well, I know one thing we can do while we're waiting. Talking about water being soaked up by paper towels reminds me of a really cool Bible story. It may be one of my favorite Bible stories. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, I'd love to, Grandpa. Do you want to hear it too?
Yes!
Okay, this Bible story is from the book of Judges. That's in the first part of the Bible called the Old Testament. The Israelites were living in the land God had promised them. They had homes and farms, and they planted crops for food and raised animals in the pens. But another group of people called the Midianites had started attacking the Israelites. The Midianites would come and burn the Israelites' crops and kill their animals.
That's terrible!
You're right. The Israelites were really scared of these very mean, very tough Midianites. And one day, a young man named Gideon was crushing wheat into flour so it could be used for baking. And this is so interesting. The Bible says he was hiding his flour so the Midianites wouldn't steal it from him. And when Gideon looked up, he saw something he never would have expected.
Grandpa, we have a clue!
A folded rectangle paper that carries a message.
What could it be? Let's put on our binoculars to help us.
This is often delivered by a mail truck and has a stamp on the front.
Oh! An envelope with the message. It's a letter. I got one of those.
Well, Gideon received a message from God, and it was delivered by a special messenger. But it wasn't the postman, it was an angel.
He saw an angel?
Yes, an angel said God had a mission for Gideon, and God wanted Gideon to rescue Israel from those mean Midianites. Yeah, Gideon's mouth may have done the same thing. He was shocked.
What did Gideon say?
Well, he asked how he could rescue Israel. Gideon said his family wasn't powerful and that they were small and weak. And Gideon was convinced God had chosen the wrong guy.
Do you think he was scared?
Yes! Yes!
He probably was scared. Do you think God makes mistakes when he tells people what to do?
No!
I've learned a lot about God through our Bible stories, and he doesn't make mistakes. Not ever.
Gideon didn't think he was strong enough or brave enough, but God believed in him.
Grandpa, I think that's our faith fact today. God believes in me. God believes in me. Let's say it together.
God believes in me.
And when it was time for Gideon to do God's special mission, the Bible says God gave Gideon power, but that,
Oh no, where's this going?
well, Gideon still didn't fully believe in himself, and he wanted to be sure that this job was from God. He asked God for a sign to make sure it really was a message from God.
Oh, another clue.
This is made from lamb's wool.
What could it be? Should we put on our binoculars?
It's white and so soft.
A fleece. Does this look so soft to you?
Yes!
Gideon had a lamb's fleece, kind of like this. And he had an idea. Have you ever gone outside early in the morning and walked in the grass?
Yes!
Did your feet get wet because the ground was wet?
Yes.
And Gideon knew that if he put the fleece outside on the ground, it would be damp in the morning, just like the ground. So he said, Lord, if you really believe in me to do this, will you please give me a sign? I'll put this fleece outside on the ground tonight. And when I wake up in the morning, if the fleece is wet, but the ground is dry, then I'll know for sure that you're going to help me rescue Israel like you promised.
So normally both the fleece and the ground should be wet.
Right, unless God did a miracle. Do you think God chose to do a miracle?
Yes.
He did! The next morning the fleece was wet and the ground was dry.
So Gideon must have been sure that God was calling him to rescue Israel, right?
Well, not quite. Gideon still needed a little more convincing. And so Gideon very nicely asked God for another miracle. But this time he asked God for the opposite sign, that the fleece would be dry and the ground would be wet.
Hey, that's just like my experiment. The fabric is soaked up in the water, so if the ground was wet, the fleece would be wet too. Unless God did a miracle. What do you think? Did God do another miracle for Gideon?
No. Yes.
The next morning, how do you think Gideon felt when he opened his door to look at the fleece? Do you think he was so excited to see that he hurried outside? Or do you think he peeked out of one eye because he was a little scared to see the answer?
He decided.
I don't know, Grandpa.
You know, the people in the Bible are real people just like you and me. So I think a lot about those questions when I read the Bible. I love to picture whether the people were excited or nervous, scared or bold, happy or sad.
That's a good idea. Okay, I think he was nervous. Or maybe a little bit excited too. So what happened next?
Lizzie, it's time for soccer practice.
Oh no, we're not done with the story, Grandpa.
That's okay. You better go now. We'll finish when you get back.
Okay, Grandpa.
And I hope you'll come back soon. I can't wait to tell you what happens.
Jump, jump, jump into the light, light, light. Run, run, run away from what's not right. Jump, jump, jump out of the dark, dark, dark. Run to Jesus, give him your heart.
Whew, that was a tough practice. Oh, I have to tell you something really big. My soccer coach asked me to be the captain of the next game. That means I will be the leader for the team that day. She thinks I will be a good leader. It makes me feel good. Yeah, I also feel nervous. I don't know if I can do it. Hey, that's what I said about Gideon, that he'd be excited and nervous. We need to find out the rest of the story. Grandpa, we're back!
Okay, I'll be right there.
Wow, look at this! The water looks like it walked over the cups because the paper towel soaked it up. It worked! I wonder if Gideon's second miracle worked too. Grandpa!
Can't wait to find out what happened with Gideon, huh? Well, it was exactly as Gideon had asked. The fleece was dry and the ground was wet.
Was Gideon finally convinced that God believed in him?
He was. Oh, Lizzie, I wish you could have seen it. After Gideon knew for sure that God believed in him, he acted with great bravery and courage. And Gideon did exactly what God told him to do. He led the Israelites against the army of the Midianites, and it was clear that God did a miracle to help Gideon and the Israelites.
That's exactly how I want God to help me with soccer too.
Hey, Lizzie, I thought of a great faith verse to go with our Gideon story and to help you with soccer too. Want to learn it with us?
Yes.
It's a long one, so we'll need to learn it in parts. Isaiah 41:10. Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. Hey, should we put some actions with it to help us remember?
Let's start with where it is in the Bible. Isaiah 41:10.
What should we do for don't be afraid?
How about we make a scared face
I like that. Gideon probably did the same face when he saw the angel.
and we can put our hands on our hips when we say, "For I am with you."
And we can make this face for don't be discouraged. And then put our hands here when we say, "For I am your God."
I think we can put all of that together. Say it with us.
Isaiah 41:10. Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. Hey, let's try that one more time.
Isaiah 41:10.
Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God.
That's a great verse, Grandpa. I'll be reminding myself of that next week when I'm on the soccer field.
Definitely. You know, maybe you should tell me more about it over a big bowl of ice cream.
That's a fantastic idea, Grandpa. See you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.